Welcome everybody. If you are watching the replay of this stream, go ahead and skip ahead to the 3-minute mark. I'm going to give it a little bit to buffer in, test the audio, let everyone get into the stream. So you can go ahead and skip ahead to the 3-minute mark. I do not want to waste your time. I'll be welcoming people in, testing audio. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you in a few minutes. And as people come in, hopefully I have someone in here already. Please let me know as you come in. I appreciate you. We have a lot to cover today. We have some breaking news out of Europe, as well as we will cover all the ETF inflows and what we should expect with the price over the next few days, because I do think we have some very exciting potential on the horizon. So hopefully I have a couple people in the stream already. I haven't seen any of my regulars pop up yet, but I am sure it is coming. Let me go ahead and check everything out here and make sure everything is functioning the way it's supposed to, which my screen share is not working. Do we have anyone in the stream yet? No one in there. Oh, William's here. Happy Thanksgiving. William is a little belated, but happy Thanksgiving. I'm trying to fix my screen view real quick here. I'll get it set up. Don't know why it's not working, but I can fix it nonetheless. Let me just add this in. Huh. Select window to capture. That one. Bingo. Okay. Down there. Wonderful. That should work now. Perfect. All right. How many do we have in here, William? Can you help me with that? I usually give it about 3 minutes to let people come in and get everything checked out, make sure we're working good here. My screen view should be working now, which it is. Perfect. Let me make sure it switches. Yep, we're good. We got everything we need working. Perfect. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving, William. My Chiefs lost. It's always a sad day. Only 2 in the stream right now. I'll give it a couple minutes. A few more minutes. It's Black Friday. It's probably going to be a slower day to be expected. I'm sure lots of people are with their families. I doubt anyone's up at 8:30 a.m. on a Friday after Thanksgiving, but I want to stay consistent for you all. Let's see. We are 2 minutes in. I'll give it another 45 seconds. We'll get everyone an opportunity to get in here. Because it's unfortunate because I have some big news that I think I'm going to hop right into it first. I'm going to skip the chart. Well, I'll come back to the chart, but I'm going to skip the chart and I'm going to jump straight to the breaking news, and then I'll go into the chart ETF inflows. But we have some big adoption news. All right. We are almost 3.5 minutes in, so I'll go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Welcome, XRP Army. As always, if it is your first time here, kick back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything, but if it's your second time, make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and engage in the chat. The way my live streams work every single time, I usually hop into the chart, cover the ETF inflows, and then cover all the news, and then I will go through the chat and answer any questions and respond to anything that has come up in the chat. I love the chat. I engage with the chat. Make sure you chat. That being said, good morning to all 7 of you who are here. It's going to be a slower day. It's Black Friday. Most people are still sleeping off their Thanksgiving meals. That's to be expected. But I had to come on here and share the news with you guys. So I'm going to hop into the breaking news first, and then I will hop into our normal rundown. That being said, boom. Here it is. Europe's ledger welcomes XRP, Stellar, and Algorand. This just released this morning at 5:20 a.m. XRP, Stellar, and Algorand are officially get integrated into Europe's unified digital ledger. This is massive. This is global adoption. XRP, Algorand, and Stellar join Europe's unified digital ledger. Renowned crypto analyst Smoke confirms XRP is officially listed on the European ledger. Europe's emerging unified digital financial infrastructure, joining XRP blockchain leaders Algorand and Stellar, are also verified, marking major milestone of integrated digital assets into Europe's financial ecosystem. The European ledger aims to revolutionize finance by uniting tokenized central bank money, commercial bank money, and digital assets on a single programmable platform. Who do we know that can easily switch between all of those things, everybody? All right. Who's the only one that can act as a bridge asset that's confirmed on this digital ledger? Excuse me. So the shared infrastructure could redefine how Europe manages its transactions and digital volume. The initiative transforms T2S, the centralized European security settlement system, into a cutting-edge DLT-based infrastructure. Central banks provide the foundation, rails, also XRP, and Ripple, while market participants operate the trains, enabling seamless liquidity and asset flows across the next generation ecosystem. Verification of XRP, Algorand, and Stellar on the European ledger marks a key step forward of institutional recognition and mainstream adoption in regulated markets. Would you like me to keep reading? Let's keep going, because this is massive. XRP's payment-focused utility positions XRP's payment-focused utility positions it for pivotal cross-border settlements, while Algorand's scalable blockchain and Stellar's fast, low-cost payments advance the ledger's mission for interoperability and efficiency. Industry experts highlight Europe's shift towards a DLT-based single market as a reflection of global trends in programmable money and tokenized assets. By combining regulatory oversight with blockchain efficiency, the European ledger could become a blueprint for integrating traditional finance with the emerging digital ecosystem. Okay, I know I'm probably hammering this a little bit overboard, but they're basically, this is basically them saying that they are going to be using XRP on the digital ledger throughout Europe. This is major adoption. This is a major rail, and I can't believe it's not getting blown up to a bigger scale. I haven't seen anyone mention it. It's on a little small news article over here, coin paper. So but that being said, this is global adoption at scale happening. Clarity is coming. It's going to have to be. But that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the normal stream of things, if you will, pun intended, and look at the price. Let's see where we're going. Currently, price is at 222. We had a little bump during Thanksgiving, and then it ran up. As I want to see us hold 220. I want to see, it's going to probably have a pullback to 220 and retest it again. I want to see us hold 220 to give us an opportunity for the next leg up, because the next leg up may get bigger. That being said, I don't know if I have it pulled up here, but I did see Bitwise was confirmed for Monday. Bitwise is going live on Monday, folks. On top of that, we're going to cover all of the ETF inflows as well. But so price is above 220. Major adoption happening in Europe. That is confirmed, announced, we can see. Along with Algorand. I don't know why the prices aren't pumping more on that news. Along with Algorand and XLM. So we do have institutional use, institutional adoption. Price is starting to climb. We need to hold the 220. Bitwise was confirmed for Monday, so we have another ETF going live. I've done 2 shorts videos. Hopefully you guys have seen one or two, at least one of them, about the 327 million XRP that has been removed from supply. I basically took my live stream and condensed it into a 30-second short, and it's getting a lot of traction. People are really enjoying it. But again, a lot of people are missing the mark because there's confusion of supply. What is supply? What's total supply? What's circulating supply? What's available supply? And everyone wants to argue about it. And of course, when you talk about XRP being removed from supply, the number one things people point to is the price isn't moving. But we know better, right? We're here for the long view. I've explained it many times. It's only a matter of time. But that being said, in the short, and the thing I wanted to share with you guys that I haven't shared in the stream yet is the way I broke it down and I showed the math and everything. You know, I could probably pull it up and play this short. I think I should, actually. Hopefully the volume comes through. Because it has a lot of good data and information in it that I really condensed. So let me see if I can pull up my YouTube channel and we can look at that real quick. 1 second. Bear with me, folks. It will not take long. Come on. My videos. There they are. Let me find this short real quick. Shorts. Here it is. All right. Let me put the screen view up here. All right, I want you guys to watch this real quick. I know it's weird. We're going to watch one of my videos, but it's got all the data in it. So hopefully the audio comes through okay here. Let's take a look. People still don't understand how fast XRP is disappearing from the open market. 5 spot XRP ETFs are already live. As of today, November 26th, they've removed 329 million XRP from circulating supply. And when you break this down by business days, these funds are absorbing 71 million XRP per day, and they've only just launched. And here's the kicker. We still have 3 more ETFs scheduled to go live. If you apply the daily averages across 8 ETFs, the removal rate explodes to about 113 million XRP every single business day. So let's actually run the model. If ETFs removed XRP at this rate and you use the full 100 billion supply, XRP runs out somewhere around March of 2028. This is why the meme coin debate doesn't even matter anymore. At this speed, it's just math. Institutional buying pressure will force the price up long before supply ever runs out. And this is only the beginning of the ETF era. Make sure you're subscribed. People still don't understand how... All right, so sorry I made you guys sit through one of my videos, but it had all of the data already collected for us, and it was just easier than trying to spout out the numbers off the top of my head. But the number one comment that I got about that was, what about the billion released by Ripple every single month? And that calculation was based on the total 100 billion supply. So there is a lot of confusion, but if you take out all the noise and all of the math about it, oh, the audio didn't come through? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. So basically what it is, I'll break it down. It's 327. So far, we've removed 327 million XRP from supply. The average, so that comes down to an average of 71 million per day. If you take those averages and extrapolate it out over 8 ETFs, it comes to 113 million XRP per day. So 113 million XRP per day, per business day. If you were to average it all out, that's 500 million per week, a billion per every 2 weeks. The entire supply would be drained. The entire 100 billion XRP supply would be drained by March of 2028. And the number one comment I always get is, what about escrow? What about this $1 billion release? And people aren't even really listening to the video. They just hear supply and they want to argue it. But if you look at the actual long-term and long view of XRP and you look at the rate it's being removed from supply, it is shockingly fast. The things that we have been talking about for, supply shock and a possible supply squeeze and supply crunch for the last 2 months that we've been talking about is now getting reported on things like Yahoo Finance. Okay. I saw it yesterday. There was probably 4 or 5 articles on the major, like CNBC, Yahoo Finance and stuff like that. Don't quote me exactly on that, but there were major articles talking about the shortage of XRP and how it could lead to a supply shock. And I don't know what else to say about it. You can Google it yourself, but the big companies are starting to say what we've been saying for months. Have we ever talked about compound interest effect? We have not talked about the compound interest effect. I'm not exactly, I know what compound interest is, but I'm not exactly how you're talking about applying it to XRP, Marty, but we can come back to that when I get through the rest of the ETF stuff. But the main thing I wanted to point out was just how quickly we are removing XRP from supply with steady institutional buying pressure. That being said, let's look at the ETF so we can actually see what we're talking about. We had a little pullback while we were talking. We're down 221, nothing major. Let's pull up the ETF information here, and I will refresh. I hate when I do this thing. Boop, there we go. And I'll refresh this so we can get the up-to-date information. Again, this is the last 24 hours. Nothing was happening yesterday, so we're not really going to get a whole lot of info up here. And I did it again. And no, I'm not going to sing Britney Spears, but I want to know in chat, how many of you, when I said, oh, I did it again, how many of you initially thought Britney Spears? I'm just curious. So we're looking at the ETF inflows right here. As you can see, major spike the last couple days. Going into the holiday here. And typically pre-holiday is a little bit slower, and we also got really poor jobs data on Wednesday, which led to a slower day. But even then, you can still see the inflows weren't as high as this day, but the inflows were still higher than any other day. Even on a poor jobs data report, the inflows were still coming in. That is important because remember, it doesn't matter if the market's up or down. These ETFs are going to keep buying. Institutional money keeps coming. They're dollar cost averaging in right now. It's not, it moves traditionally. It's not going to move like the ETFs are not going to move like a normal crypto market. And that's why we wanted them. We wanted that steady buying pressure. Again, since we did not have since the market was not open yesterday, we're really not going to have any new information from what I put out on Wednesday as far as in regards to the actual ETFs, other than the fact that we did get confirmed that 21 shares is going to be live on Monday, December 1st. Confirmed. So that will be our 6th spot ETF that will be live. Everyone is not including the Rex Osprey ETF when they're talking about it. So don't forget that is a spot ETF. And as we're discussing the spot ETFs, we're going to hop in. Hello, Jabe. Is it Jabez or Jabes? Or I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but hi, Jabes. I see you. And again, interact in the chat. I am going to come back to it once I get through all of the information. And that's basically the second part of the live stream is us discussing things in chat. So that being said, back to the ETF information. 21 shares on Monday. We still have coin shares and Wisdom Tree on deck. Those are expected to go live, I've heard, next week. But again, nothing confirmed. Wisdom Tree was originally confirmed by Bloomberg to be out on Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and that one didn't happen. That being said, we've covered that, but let's actually look at how much XRP has been removed from supply. So I'm going to go to Franklin Templeton. You guys can see it yourself. We will refresh and see if this has changed since Wednesday. I haven't messed with it. So as of right now, it's still showing XRP. Oh, it has gone up. We have 34,212,000 XRP in supply from Franklin Templeton. Grayscale, we will refresh. And Grayscale is still at 36 million. Theirs has not changed. We're going to go to Canary Capital and update theirs. And they are at, come on, where'd it go? Oh, it's down here. There it is. Theirs went up. They're at 155 million now. They were at 153, so they went up over the holiday. This is the Rex Osprey ETF. Let's see if theirs is adjusted. Nope, theirs is still at 32 million. That hasn't changed. This is Bitwise. See if theirs has changed. Where's it at? It was. Come on. There. Come on. Where's that? There it is. Bitwise. That's the ticker. Where's the actual? I missed it. I'm probably going right past it. That's the administrator ticker. It's not there. Performance history. Oh, here it is, right at the top. Theirs did go up. It went up an additional 3 million over the holiday, so they're at 80,500,000 now. So as you can see, even when the market was closed, these ETFs were still accumulating, not much, but they were still pulling XRP off supply during that time. So they're getting it from moneymakers, OTCs, things like that. And it won't be until that dries up that we get somewhere with it. Let's see here. What is this? This was Times Square. So we covered the ETFs. I already covered this, but if you didn't know this, they actually lit up Times Square with a bunch of Ripple advertising on Wednesday, right before we are going into the holiday weekend, right before, Thanksgiving, Macy's Day Parade, all of those things. So that they typically, when they do that, they're announcing something very, very major. We're talking about adoption in Europe. We also talked about Wednesday adoption in the United States in regards to states looking at using cryptocurrency and XRP, not just XRP, but looking at cryptocurrency and XRP for paying taxes. Adoption is happening. The ETFs are sucking money out of supply faster than anyone actually realizes because the price isn't moving yet. But once this actually gets low, it's going to move. I have said I thought it was going to happen at the end of November, moving into December, through the end of the year, and then when utility turns on, that's when we're going to see a more rapid appreciation. But right now with the ETFs, we're just going to see a steady rise of our floor. That's my thoughts, my opinion, not financial advice. As always, everything on this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. You need to consult a financial advisor and do your own research. I will be the first person to tell you, do your own research. I'm trying to present data to you and give you my opinion. I like to tell stories and figure out the narratives, and this is how I think it's playing out, but you can take the data and come up with your own ideas and your own thesis. That being said, that is the news. So let me get into the chat. So I'm going to go through the chat now, and then I will recap the news. And if everyone wants to keep talking, we'll keep talking. I'm not sure how many people are in the stream. William, if you could help me. I figured it was going to be a slower day, being the day after a holiday, and that's to be expected. But I wanted to at least update you guys on that breaking news at a very, very minimum, because that is massive. People don't, on here, it seems like everyone ignores the macro elements that are actually going to allow this stuff to happen, and just want to talk about the price and the numbers, and not the things that are actually going to move the price and the numbers. So hopefully I can give you a little bit of a background on that and give you a different picture. That being said, I'm going to hop into the chat now, and let's see here. Steven said, good morning. Good morning, Steven. Thank you all for joining me on your Friday after Thanksgiving as well. I appreciate it. Hopefully you all had a great holiday with your families and your friends. Just remember, and I'm not going to get all serious on you guys, but just remember, Thanksgiving is about being thankful and having gratitude for what we have and for our friends and family. And there's a lot of people who maybe don't have the same opportunities, and I'm just saying, take the time to appreciate your friends and family this Thanksgiving. Aside from that, moving on. Let's see. In the words of Jimmy Johnson, how about them Cowboys? Yeah, that was painful. That was painful. I'm not gonna get too far into it, but the pass interference calls were a little sketch, in my opinion. But I will never blame the refs. We lost. Let's see here. Have we ever talked about the compound interest effect? I know what the compound interest effect is in regards to investing. I'm curious, Marty, if you're asking in regards to XRP specifically, or if you're just wanting a better understanding of what compound interest is. Let me know. You can clarify in comments. I'll gladly, or clarify in the chat, and I'll gladly answer it for you. But I mean, they're two different answers, so I want to make sure I answer the right question. Let's see here. That's just in America. Do you know if XRP hype in our countries or able to buy XRP like us? Certainly able to buy in other countries, and there's certainly hype in a lot of other areas of the world about XRP. As a matter of fact, Korea is probably the strongest market for XRP. XRP is also very, very popular in Asia and Japan. SBI, the second biggest bank in Japan, is a Ripple partner. So we're talking about the US, and Ripple is a US based company, but actually, believe it or not, they have more partnerships, corridors, and participation abroad than they do here in the United States because of the SEC case and because of the lack of clarity. They've been able to build more outside the US than they have within the US. And once we get clarity, that's when the US stuff comes on. And let's be honest, right now, the dollar in the US runs the world economy. The world economy goes as the United States goes. So until the US gets involved with Ripple and with XRP, we're not going to see full utility. But that being the case, they are plugged in everywhere. I mean, they are literally plugged in everywhere. They have every single piece of infrastructure other than a bank charter and a Fed master account and clarity. That is it. They have everything else, and it's just a matter of time. Let's see here. Buy more. Louis Von Lil 86. Louis Von Lil 86. So that's, you are 39. You got 40 coming up, Louis. Congratulations. Steven says, that's just, I answered that. Jabez. Thank you, Jabez. I appreciate it. Or is it Jabez? But you got the J in there, Jabez. Okay. Let's see here. Marty Clown, compound interest when Ripple is the world bank, the amount of interest on the trillions and beyond. Well, I mean, the amount of interest on the trillions and beyond, I'm still not understanding, because we're not earning interest on our XRP. I mean, it'll appreciate, but we're not earning interest on the XRP. However, if you are doing something, or we are able to use, I think maybe this is what you're asking. I think once Ripple becomes a bank, like, are we going to be able to store our XRP and collect a percentage, and then the percentage increase as the price appreciates? Maybe that makes sense in my head. But to be truthful with you, I do not have a ton of knowledge on that, but it's definitely something I want to look forward to. I mean, compound interest is the way to get wealthy. Honestly, that's why they always say start investing early. Give you guys an example, a little tidbit. If you have kids and you want to set up your kids for life, if you have your own business and you can hire your child when they're 13. If you have your own business, and you can pay them up to $13,000 a year tax-free completely. So you can just transfer the money basically to your child, keep it within the household tax-free for $13,000. And then you can open a Roth IRA for your child, and you can put up to $6,000 in that every single year tax-free. And if you do that from the time they are 13 to 18, by the time they are 65 and of retirement age, they will have $1 to $1.2 million. So that's an easy way to make your kid a millionaire and set them up for life. I learned that one last week. It was a good tip. That being said, I've gone through the entire chat. Let me go ahead and recap everything for you. It's a slower day. It's all right. Let me go ahead and recap everything for you. So we covered the ETF inflows. Right now, we had a slight increase between all of the inflows from Wednesday to today. That being, with the holiday. We still had a slight increase between all of them of roughly 10 million XRP. So still, even while the market was closed, we gained 10 million XRP into the ETS, still removing it from supply. There are a lot of articles you can, you know what, let's Google one together. I just want to Google one together and see, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me pull this up here. XRP supply shock. Trading View, Coin Paper, the Crypto Basic, TMA Street. I saw one on Yahoo Finance. Let's see here. Let me just see. Not XRP supply shortage, maybe. Let me see what the actual word was. Paired with adoption narratives and renewed investor confidence across the board, crypto market XRP supply is tightening fast. If this trend continues, volatility could increase potentially to the upside as fewer tokens remain available. So that's Google saying that. But I mean, CoinGate, Zcrypto, a billion different YouTubers, You Today, Trading View, Mex, Fastbull. I mean, literally, you can find it everywhere, pages and pages and pages. And again, I saw things talking about XRP supply shock on major, well, maybe not the words supply shock, but they were saying supply shortage and mass exodus and things like that. And I'm talking about major websites like Yahoo Finance and those kinds of things. So, I mean, it's getting real quick. Thank you for taking time out of Thanksgiving weekend for the updates. Absolutely, William. Absolutely. I appreciate you all. Is digital ID going to be a problem getting to our bags? I won't comply. I don't have the answer to that question, Crypto. Crypto Canuck asked if digital ID is going to be a problem with us getting to our bags. I don't have the answer to that, but digital ID is definitely something that I'm keeping an eye on, that I'm concerned about, because we have learned they've already shown that they can do it on the XRP ledger. The ability to mass mint NFTs and assign IDs to them. That be what they're presenting is stuff for like ticketing and things like that, like sports tickets or credentials like degree, like your college degree and stuff like that. So they can issue an NFT and attach an ID to it, right? So the infrastructure is there for them to apply digital IDs very quickly. Say they want to issue a driver's license and attach a digital ID to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna have to be something we keep an eye on for sure. I'm not trying to be Chicken Little, or but I'm gonna look at the good and the bad, and regardless of what crypto wins, digital ID is definitely going to have to be something that we keep an eye on and pay attention to in the future. And I will tell you this, Crypto Canuck, I don't have any information on if it's going to be a problem with us getting to our bags just now. I would assume it would. That would be a good way for them to make sure people comply. But I will tell you this, it's something I am monitoring very closely, and I will update you if I see anything, because that is the number one red flag I'm paying attention to in regards to blockchain and cryptocurrencies moving forward, because that is definitely something that I think is very scary and could be a huge problem. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. So yeah, that's all the news. That's everything. We've recapped everything again. Over 330 million XRP is gone from supply. If that continues at the rate it's continuing, once we get into these other additional ETFs, remember, we're going to have 8 ETFs live in a matter of time. Bitwise is going live on Monday. That is confirmed. So once we have 8 ETFs live, if you take the average amount of XRP they've been removing and put it over the entire 8 ETFs, you're looking at 113 million XRP per day leaving supply. If you were to do that over the entire 100 billion supply, not escrow, not available supply, not circulating supply, the total supply of XRP, it would run out in March of 2028. So again, if you can look down the road at the long view and ignore the wind moon concept and when's it going to 100 and when's it going to 1,000 and all of these things, and every time there's good news about XRP, the only thing people say is the price doesn't move. This is not a traditional crypto. This is Amazon in 2000. This is Tesla in 2005. Like, that's how I look at it. All right, that's me personally. That's my view, not only on XRP, but on the crypto space in general, because a lot of people were getting in for the cycles and a lot of millionaires were made quickly, but that is not sustainable. And do I think 220 range is the new floor? Thank you for the question. I personally believe that our current floor is $2. Until I see us retest and hold 220 and bounce off of it with some real momentum, I'm not calling that the new floor yet. But here, I'll pull up the chart and we can take a look at it here. If I can get my mouse to work for me. There we go. I'll pull up the chart. We'll take a look at it and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. The reason I say that $2 is the new floor, and I'll just give you a brief overview. There's something called a fair value gap, and I'll explain what that is. Let me get a box here. So a fair value gap is if you have a sharp shoot up from a candle, you're going to take the space between the top of the candle in front of it and the bottom of the candle after it. So that would be this right here. So as you can see, if I take this out over here, this is from the top of, there we go, boom. All right, that's from the top of this candle to the bottom of this candle because we had this large run up, okay? That creates a fair value gap. That means there's a liquidity in this area that did not get the chance to be fully absorbed. So if you have a shoot up past in an area like this, it is very, very common for it to come back in and test it. We haven't gotten to the bottom of this fair value gap. So right now I'm looking at our current next step. As you can see, we bounced off in here and came back up. So I would be looking at our current next step, came in and touched it again and came back. If this comes down, I want to say our current floor is this 212 area. This is the bottom of this fair value gap. If we fall below this 212 area, then $2 is our next support. But as you can see, we've already came in here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and it got bought up and moved up. So it's looking like 220 might be the new floor. This is a good sign that it keeps coming here and buyers are saying, nope, go back up. So there's a very good chance. And again, all of this is not financial advice. I'm just explaining what I see. So there's a very good chance, since this has already come down 4 times in this, that we have proven, okay, we're not going to go past this level and we're going to go up from here. That's the story that this is telling. However, again, it's a chart. It can easily fall through. That being said, if it does, I think $2 is the next level of support, and we'll see what happens with Bitwise, but I definitely think we're going to run up this weekend. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. That has been a gut feeling I was talking about since Wednesday. But with the Bitwise announcement, it definitely could, be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, and we'll look at that on Monday as well. Moving on, let's go back to the chat. I saw some stuff pop up here. Do you feel 220 range is new floor? I just answered that. Bitwise is already live. You mean 21 shares on Monday? Yes, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, Brian. Yes, 21 shares Monday. There's so many ETFs that I can't keep track of them all in my head. Between 21 shares, Coin Shares, Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, Grayscale, Rex Osprey. Did I miss one? I feel like I missed one. But I mean, there's so many. That's everything I have for you guys. I hope that answers all of your questions today. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure that you are enjoying the time. Yes, I did see that, Marty. 21 shares Monday. And I said when we were looking at this, when we were looking at this over here the other day, I pointed out here that it was a rumor and it was unconfirmed, because the 29th I thought was Friday. The 29th, today's Friday, right? The 28th. 29th was actually a Saturday. So if I would have looked a little more closely, I would have caught on to that. No way they were going to make it go live on a Saturday. But this was actually confirmed on X from 21 shares that they are going live on Monday. Yes, 21 shares, not Bitwise. What about Canary? What about, Canary Capital was the other one. Yes, that's right. Canary Capital. The one that's doing the most, actually. Canary Capital has been kicking butt. 153 million XRP in their trust already. That's massive. And then someone transferred 30 million XRP off the exchange a couple days ago. There was that $3.1 billion purchase of XRP at the $1.75 level. Like 300 million XRP was taken off of Coinbase, was transferred out of Coinbase. And also too, by the way, guys, you're going to see a lot of transfers, a lot of large transfers going to Coinbase. That is not whale movement for selling pressure necessarily. It could be, but because Coinbase is custodying assets now, there are large transfers going to CoinShares to go into institutional custody for their partners. So just as you're looking, and if you see announcements of large amounts of XRP moving to Coinbase, keep in mind that is a very big, more than likely possibility of why, is that it's getting put into institutional custody, not going out for sale on the exchange. That's another piece of information. Excuse me. All right. So I think we are going to wrap it up, but I will be back tomorrow with a long form video, hopefully. If not, it'll be a live stream, and I'll be doing shorts updates today. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the market for sure, because I do think something's about to pop off. I think we have a chance to see 250 by Monday, honestly. I feel like it's ready to go. And I wish I had something other than intuition to tell you that on, other than, of course, all the supply stuff we've been talking about with XRP being removed from exchanges, adoption, Europe, all these things. If we move our XRP to cold wallets off exchanges, do we pay taxes on it then or when we sell it? To my knowledge, and I would, again, not financial advice, I would consult your tax person. But to my knowledge, it is only when you sell it. Because remember, all of those tokens are ID'd, so they can tell when they're bought, sold, transferred, all those things. So to my knowledge, it is only when you sell it. But I haven't had to personally mess with it because I've only had to sell once, and it was for a major loss. So I didn't really have to pay taxes on it. I got a tax break because I lost money. But all that being said, we'll definitely, I think I'll definitely start making videos and doing more research on taxes and insurance and protection as the price starts to appreciate, so I can help everyone prepare. But I would recommend I would say, and again, not financial advice, but I would say if you have more than 10,000 XRP, I would start, and you don't have plans on doing anything with it, you're just waiting for it to appreciate and borrow against it. But if you have more than 10,000 XRP, I would suggest institutional custody, and then cold wallets, things like that if you want to have stuff to move around, as well as a couple warm wallets. It's good to have not all your eggs in one basket, right? Have many options of protection. So in case something does go wrong, you don't lose everything, because that would suck bad. I've heard too many horror stories of people losing a cold wallet that has, everything on it. You have 1 billion XRP, Roger? Oh my goodness. We got billionaire in the stream, everybody. I'll be looking at you when memberships go live, Roger. No, I'm just playing with you. But that's great, man. That's great. So what you're saying is if the price appreciates, you're going to buy Hawaii for us. Is that what I'm understanding? All right, guys. But that's going to be it for today. I've covered everything I have. I'm going to get off here. I've got to take care of some things. I'm going to get some shorts going up. You have 1 million wallets with 10 XRP. Wow. That is fantastic, Roger. I wish I had your bag. What can I say? But all right, for real, I'm hopping off here, everyone. I'll see you guys on the next stream for sure. For sure, Monday. I might be live tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll have the long form video up, and we will cover the Bitwise launch live on Monday. I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your holiday weekend with your families, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.